All right.
Well, hello everyone, and a very warm welcome to this edition of the Turbo Business Interview. My name is Tom Poland, and I'm joined by a very well-respected international authority on trust-based selling, the number one authority, in fact, on trust-based selling, Ari Galper. Ari, a very good morning to you, sir.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Well, thanks for coming along. It's an absolute delight and a pleasure. Ari and I bumped into each other at a marketing conference in Atlanta, Georgia, USA, several years ago, and I've since then was originally so impressed, Ari, first of all, with your gentlemanlike behavior, and since then with the robust integrity of the services and the products and everything you do. So it's great respect for what you do. For those of you who don't know Ari quite as well as I do, let me just give you a little bit of his bio, and then we'll get into the interview. As I said, Ari is the number one world authority on trust-based selling. He's the creator of a brilliant system called Unlock the Game, which is a new sales mindset, and it's a very results-oriented approach to selling, but chock full of integrity, and it really has revolutionized how many of us in the world think about the concept of selling. It's built on the concept of authentic communication and trust. He's got a very visionary approach to selling, and it relieves that sort of pressure, that stress you sometimes feel, whether you're the salesperson or whether you're kind of being sold to, and it produces very profound results in the same process. Now, we've got a very limited time for this interview, so there's a lot more I could read to you about Ari's incredibly impressive bio, the international luminaries that he's shared the stage with, interviews on networks such as CNN Money and Sky TV. But Ari, I think we'll get into it. The subject is how to double your sales through trust-based selling, and as you know, we've got 5 minutes. Your time starts now. How about you kick off and just tell us, what is trust-based selling?
Well, I mean, I think it comes down to the fact that and it's more prevalent now more than ever, that trust is the lowest point in our society, and I think most people would agree with that in terms of business, governments, politics, ethics in business, and the challenge we have is that most business owners out there have been conditioned to sell the traditional way, and the mindset around that their goal is to sell in a conversation with someone. And we realized over time that if you can shift your mindset away from the sale and focus on the truth, whether you're fit with a client or not, then that whole mindset shifts your behavior, shifts your languaging. And we have invented and developed our own what we call trust-based languaging to build trust with people. So we have a whole different take on selling than most people, others teach. And our take on selling is that we don't believe your goal is to sell. We believe your goal is to create trust with people. Because when you create trust with people, that creates a system in itself to define who's a fit and who's not a fit. And that's the natural way things should be. And by doing that approach, the pressure is relieved for both parties. You're authentic in what you do. And here's the ironic thing of it all. When you let go of the end goal of the sale, you end up making more sales because people are attracted to you because you're not selling the old way. And the last thing I'll just make a comment about is that the way the world's become commoditized, and the internet's commoditized so many businesses now, what's interesting about our trust-based selling model is this, that if you can actually master the art of trust-based selling, that becomes your differentiation as opposed to someone else selling what you have. And it becomes more about what you're selling and more about how you're selling. And that's the whole concept. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. It sounds like a very natural, relaxed way of approaching the whole strategy of selling. It's kind of like non-sales selling, if that makes sense.
When people hear it at first, they kind of go, "Oh, great! I can just be myself and just let it all go." And so it's not that extent of not doing anything, but
right.
It certainly is a feeling that you do not have to apply pressure, you don't have to chase, but if you can connect in a certain way with people, that drives them towards you, using our trust-based languaging. And
okay.
So it all feels natural and it's all ethical.
All right, so we've got just under 2.5 minutes left for this. First of all, folks, the URL that I would strongly encourage you to get to is www.unlockthegame.com. That's www.unlockthegame.com. Now, Ari, can you give us, in the remaining 2 minutes we've got left, some of your what I think we could quite rightly say has now become quite famous trust-based languaging?
Sure. So like I said, we invented our own phraseology to build trust in the sales process. So let me give you a great scenario. Let's say you're having a first call with a client on the phone, and it's a great opportunity, and you feel like it's a good fit, and the call comes to a close. Typically in sales, we're taught to move things forward, right? So we might say something like, hey, let's get together, let's have lunch, let's come to the office, let's move forward, let's move towards a sale. But the problem with that thinking is if you attempt to move things forward and they aren't ready yet, you could break trust immediately. So rather than that saying, hey, let's move things forward, what we say instead is this, and this comes right from our program, what we say is this: where do you think we should go from here?
Wow. So you're actually bouncing the ball back and, metaphorically speaking, in the other person's court, which is completely the opposite of what we were traditionally taught in sales, which is that you have to stay in control. So why does that work so well? Because it changes the whole psychology, obviously, but...
Well, what's happening here is that we are intently removing the pressure from the process, because there is an invisible river, a fluid river of pressure that flows underneath every dialogue you have with a potential client. It's there. You can't see it. They can't see it. Both of you can feel it. If you are the first one to take the pressure out of the process, what will happen is you'll end up chasing what I call ghosts, people who are express interest but never end up buying. But when you begin to use our languaging like, where should we go from here, in a very gentle way, what that does is, first of all, they're in a state of shock. They're in a complete state of shock.
Okay.
They can't believe they're being treated like a human being and not a prospect. This for people is absolutely shocking. But that changes the whole moment, and that changes the game.
Brilliant. Unlockthegame.com. Thanks, Ari.